anyone who would ask me to lay these principles aside, I say to them, in the language that I know best, 2 words: shove it.
He's always been known to speak his mind, and at the age of 64, publisher Larry Flynt remains as outspoken, some might say as outrageous, as ever.
It is the greatest right that any nation can afford its people, is the right to be left alone.
And many people do listen. Flynt's zeal for free enterprise did, after all, create a $400 million corporation from a graphic porn magazine titled Hustler, first published in 1974.
It's one thing they can't control.
Today, Flynt controls an international empire of casinos, sex videos, strip clubs, and retail stores. But fame and fortune have come with a heavy price.
Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flynt is paralyzed from the waist on down and has less than a 50% chance to recover the use of his legs.
Flynt's been targeted by a would-be assassin, the law, feminists, religious crusaders, and much to Flynt's delight, political pundits.
Politics is really my passion and has been for 40 years.
We're the strongest country in the world today, only because we are the freest country in the world today.
So you were prosecuted a lot, right? Arrested a lot in the early days of Hustler.
About 9 times, but they've all been reversed on appeal.
Why'd you keep going every time you were getting arrested and convicted?
If I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? I've been in the forefront of practically every First Amendment battle that we fought in this country.
I'll be back as long as I have money, and then when I run out of money, they can put me in jail. And I'll stay there till I rot or hell freezes over.
You know, you faced amazing adversity in your life with all of these arrests, and also, obviously, when you were shot at 35. Where do you get the strength to keep going?
If you can't fight to preserve our way of life and the Constitution, then what is there left worth fighting for?
Tell me a little bit about that short period in your life where you had kind of a religious, spiritual conversion.
Instead of hustling for sex, we're going to be hustling for the Lord, that's all.
I did have a religious experience, but I got over that, Beth.
Years later, another religious encounter pitted Flynt against televangelist Jerry Falwell over the right to publish this parody ad.
He suggested that my mother was a whore.
I think that the First Amendment gives me the right to be offensive.
The Supreme Court agreed. Did you really become friends with him after the case was over?
You know, he became friends with me.
And along the way, Flynt also got chummy with a few Hollywood hotshots.
You can't show the genitalia.
Why not?
Woody actually played me better than I played myself. And we nominated for an Academy Award. I think we would have won one if it hadn't been for the feminists.
Flynt wins no kudos from Capitol Hill either after posting $1 million reward to out philandering lawmakers. So far, the hunt has netted a trio of Republican bigwigs. Are your efforts to expose hypocrisy in the government bipartisan, or do you target Republicans?
It's bipartisan. I gotta keep it that way, but you know, we usually wind up catching Republicans because they're so easy to catch.
I have hurt you all deeply, and I beg your forgiveness.
How would you like to be remembered, in your life as the guy who did what?
As someone who fought to expand the right of free expression.
We're talking about freedom. Doesn't anyone know what it means anymore?
Welcome to Pahrump, Nevada, population 36,000, located about 60 miles west of Las Vegas. This is the kind of place you pass on your way to someplace else. But now, one of Pahrump's residents has put this hidden desert community on the map.
Well, welcome to Dirty Laundry here.
No, I have to say, this is the nicest laundromat I've ever seen.
Well, thank you. It's quite a compliment. And I try to make it look good.
An ironic venture for someone with a, shall we say, less than clean record. So what made you decide to open a laundromat?
You know, I really wish I could answer that, but I really don't know. I don't know, and I'm even surprised that I was persistent and consistent enough to actually get it open, but I'm glad that I did because it's a business I happen to really like.
Do you enjoy living out here?
I love it here. I mean, there's prostitution, gambling, political corruption. What else could you ask for?
Life in Pahrump has also given Heidi time to reflect on her former infamy as the so-called Madam to the Stars and her nearly 2-year punishment in the slammer.
I have no regrets in my life. So what if I've been to the penitentiary? I don't regret it. I'm humbled, I'll tell you that, definitely. At this age, I'm not going to take a chance with my freedom, that's for sure.
Which isn't to say Heidi's done flirting with the sex trade. At the age of 41, she's now surveying a new sexual frontier in the brothel-friendly community of Nye County, Nevada. Heidi's vision? Peddling male flesh for women on a 60-acre stud farm, originally designed as a tongue-in-cheek replica of the White House.
The world has changed and times have changed, and okay, let's face it, without Viagra you probably couldn't do the stud farm, but Viagra does make it possible, and why not switch it up a bit? I already did the women thing, I did it better than anyone on this earth, and hey, if the stud farm doesn't work, I can always do the women thing.
In the meantime, Heidi's got dirty laundry to tend to, and oh yes, the kids! 25 exotic birds to be exact, flocking in and out of her 2-bedroom nest on the outskirts of Death Valley.
Reggie.
This must be a pretty big part of who you are.
They changed me more than anything in my life. I have to say, these birds change everything about me.
What's going through his head right now?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
You're like a mother to many here.
They have no business being in Death Valley, but they're here and I'll do what I can.
Doing what she can. You might say that's also Heidi's approach to the seemingly improbable odds of one day regaining her title as the Queen of Vice.
I'll get it together. It'll come together. Sometimes, you know, you look at something and it seems impossible, but it is possible as long as you keep to it and you're persistent. I really wish it was open. And it seems like a fun place to have, too.
My parents, you know, couldn't afford the real expensive skating costumes. You know, my mother made them for me. I only had a couple of sessions of skating a day instead of, 6 to 8 hours a day because we couldn't afford it.
Despite the odds, Tonya persevered to become a national champion and 2-time Olympian, plus the first American woman to complete a triple axel jump in competition.
I had the determination, I had the speed, and I had the height, and I had the strength. And I was bound to do it.
Then, in 1994, it all came crashing down.
I thought that was going to be my year. I mean, I was ready. And then for someone to, take it away from me.
No comment means no comment, all right?
Eventually, though, Harding's ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, admitted hiring a hitman to strike Kerrigan. Tonya then confessed that she learned about Gillooly's plot after the fact.
I know I have let you down, but I have also let myself down.
They made me out to be some horrible, horrible person, and it hurt. And there wasn't anything I could say or do to make people understand what was going on.
What was going on, Tonya claims in her book, was that she had been brutally forced to keep silent by her ex and 2 other men.
I was abused physically with a gun to my head, and I was told that if I did not say what they wanted me to say, that they would take care of me right there.
Tonya says the fear nearly drove her to suicide.
I felt like I was half of a woman. I mean, how are you supposed to tell somebody what just happened to you? I mean, that's what I have, learned is that it is okay to tell someone. Sorry. I felt like I just wanted to not be here anymore.